The 2019 NFL Draft was absolutely loaded at some positions, but definitely wasn't all that at some other positions. So today we're gonna go back in time and completely redraft the first round of the 2019 NFL Draft. Now just super quick before we get into that, welcome to the second channel if you are here from my main channel, or if you just randomly stumbled upon this video, then that's cool too. Be sure to subscribe if you want to be a super OG of the channel. I think we only have right around 40 subscribers on here. And be sure to like, it really helps out a ton. And it helps me know that y'all are enjoying these videos. And let me know what kind of videos you would want to see on here, because this is going to be just my more general football channel rather than Madden like my main one. So I'm just going to do stuff like this over here. But I don't want to waste too much time talking. I just want to get right into this. How I'm going to do this is just make the picks. I think I'm going to show the depth chart for each team and talk about who they would be losing and who I'm going to pick, obviously. So for the number one overall pick, the Arizona Cardinals obviously went with Kyler Murray. Now there is an argument to be made to keep that pick. However, even though I am a Kyler Murray defender, we're not going to do that. For most of these, I'm not going to go based off of their team at the time. I'm going to go based off the team now. But for this one pick, we're going to say, hey, maybe give Josh Rosen another shot, or if he doesn't work out, just get a QB later. Here we're going to go with Nick Bosa. I mean, their pass rush is disgusting, and Nick Bosa is like a top 3 pass rusher in the NFL. So one of the most valuable positions, the most valuable position on defense, one of the best in the NFL, seems like a no-brainer. Now the 49ers at 2, this creates a very interesting scenario for them. You could, in theory, take who the Cardinals just passed up on in Kyler Murray, because quarterback is kind of a question, not kind of, it is very much a question for them right now. I almost said Drew Lock. Brock Purdy was pretty good for them last year. He was entirely a product of their system. I mean, he's a decent player in his own right, but on literally on any other team in the NFL, he would have not looked like he did last year. That's not to discredit him, but still. I know I just talked about quarterback, but I don't think that's what we're gonna do here anyways. This pass rush is pretty disgusting without Nick Bosa, and not in a good way. You have Drake Jackson, who could be good but unproven. Clelin Ferrell, who I think will be good this year, but you still need another one. You don't have Nick Bosa here, basically. You also lose Deebo Samuel, which is tough, but again, part of their system. They can find run after catch receivers. So we are gonna give them also one of the better pass rushers in the NFL, and that is gonna be all the way down here at 112, Max Crosby. It gave me a D+ for that. I think that would be higher in real life, going back-to-back white boys at number 1 and 2, but I feel like it's valid. Losing Nick Bosa creates a massive need there. Max Crosby isn't quite as good, but is also very good in his own right. Now the New York Jets at number 3. We are going to actually keep their pick for the first time in this redraft. You could also take Dexter Lawrence and be fine with that. You could also take Jeffrey Simmons and be fine with that. They're all on about the same tier. But Quinnen Williams, I think, is the best out of that group, so might as well stick with the pick. Now the Raiders at number 4. This is where it gets super interesting. This team is really not good. I feel like that's not talked about enough, but they have players, but they definitely get screwed from this draft. I mean, you lose Jacoby Myers, you lose Hunter Renfrow, you lose Josh Jacobs, you lose Max Crosby. You're definitely losing most of your best players, I'll put it bluntly. That creates massive holes at receiver. You already have holes on the offensive line. Quarterback is a question mark. Running back is now a problem. Pass rush is now a problem. Your linebackers are kind of a problem to begin with. Your corner group is kind of a problem. Your safety group is kind of... This team is horrid if they lose the players from this draft. Like, maybe worst in the NFL. So there's really no wrong choice here, I guess. We could almost go any direction here and be fine. I'm between either going Dexter Lawrence or, weirdly enough, AJ Brown. I feel like it's probably better to pick defensive line higher than receiver, but also maybe not. You know what? We'll go Dexter Lawrence to the Raiders. Top 4 defensive line picks, but like I said, some position groups are really strong in this draft, and front 7, well, interior defensive line and edge, your defensive line, that's a very strong class, a very strong group in this class. So it kind of makes sense that those are the top top 4 picks. So the Raiders are gonna have to fill out more throughout this draft, but it's a pretty good first pick for them. Now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 5. Do they lose anything from this draft at all? Okay, they definitely do. They lose Jamel Dean and Devin White. And I think that's it in terms of starters at least. So they're not making it out too bad from this draft. They're gonna be upgrading, in fact, more than likely. This could be the Kyler Murray pick. I don't know if you want to throw him behind that offensive line, but you could. You could. Okay, yeah, maybe controversial, but this is gonna be the Kyler Murray pick. I feel like it's overstated how bad he's been. He's gotten a lot of hate for being immature, which is normally a problem. However, when he's played, he's been pretty good. Now this last year, the team was all hurt. Terrible head coach. He was even hurt. And still, he wasn't even as bad as people said he was. And actually, just like a couple years ago, he was like a top 8-ish QB in the NFL, right around that range. So to get that at number 5 could be a massive steal. I'm not saying he will work out in the NFL. I'm saying he has already shown to be good. And after 1 year, I don't know why people are so out on him, because he had like everything in the book stacked against him. So I think people need to chill on Kyler Murray unless some of the hate has gotten to his head, which could fuck him up. I don't know. But I think people need to chill, and I'm gonna go on record saying this could be a risk. I think Kyler will work out and be good. Actually, I don't know. I'm not a Jonathan Gannon fan. I'm not a fan of defensive head coaches in general, and I'm definitely not a Gannon fan, but we'll see. So actually, I might take that statement back. He might not be fine, but we'll see. Now, another super interesting pick here. The Giants really get screwed from this too. Was Isaiah Hodgins in this draft? And Darius Slayton? And wait, hold on. Were there I might be wrong, but were there top 3 receivers in this class? I hope not, for their sake. Well, for real life, they're fine, but here they're screwed. And they're obviously losing Daniel Jones and Dexter Lawrence and Bobby Okereke. Yeah, good luck, Giants. I guess there isn't really a wrong answer here again, because I mean, they just need so much. I'm not a Danny Dimes truther, I'm gonna be honest. I think he's okay, and I hated the pick at the time. I was yelling at them to take Dwayne Haskins, which, you know, surrounding situation is a big part of it. Maybe he could have worked out there. Rest in peace, though. I said that very, like, coldly. No, legitimately rest in peace. Like, that's fucked up. But, you know, Daniel Jones has slowly come along. Very slowly. He's gotten more of a chance than I think he should have. But this last year, he finally looked decent. There's no way in hell I would have paid him $40 million a year like the Giants did, but that's what they did. And he could break out this year. I guess last year was his breakout year, but still, it was a breakout from being like not very good to like decent. It wasn't like a not very good to like top 10 QB. It was like top 16 now, maybe lower. Giants fans are gonna fucking murder me. We're not gonna take Danny Dimes though. They can figure out I mean, they have the GOAT Tyrod Taylor, Danny DeVito, Tommy DeVito, barely know who that is. I barely know the name. We're gonna go AJ Brown here. Weird pick, I know. Receiver's been a problem for them for a while. I think their receiving core is gonna be good this year. They're lacking a number 1, but I think you can survive without a number 1. Maybe. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8, maybe even 9 receivers that I would be comfortable with getting playing time. I don't know who the hell they're gonna cut. They're gonna have to cut probably at least 2 or 3 of those 9. It's just a really deep group, and I actually think it's underrated. But again, they are lacking that number 1, and I do think they lose some here. So we're gonna give them AJ Brown. And I don't want this video to be 2 hours long, so we might speed it up a little bit. But at number 7, we don't really have a reason to change it away from Josh Allen. He's been good. We could go like Sweat or Burns. They're all on about the same level. Oh, you know what? Actually, I do kind of like Rashawn Gary a little more. Let's go with him. Not by a lot, but I do like Gary a little more, like a slight tier above Burns, Sweat, and Allen. Just for reference, from my custom Madden rosters, I just keep the overall where I see them in real life. I have Gary at an 89, and then I have Burns, Allen, and Sweat at an 85, all at the same overall. So I do see Rashawn Gary as a little bit better, so, you know, you might as well take the better player. I don't know for sure if he is, but, you know, it could work out in different ways. But so far, I think Gary's been a tiny bit better, even though he has been definitely buried on the Packers. linebackers until the last couple years. But the Lions at number 8, who the hell did they take here? Oh yeah, they took TJ Hawkinson. That was a fine pick. They could definitely use tight end now, but why tight end top 10? I never loved tight end top 10. Who do they lose from this class? Do they lose anybody? They lose David Montgomery, but you have Jahmyr Gibbs, so it's not the end of the world. Do they lose Aleem McNeil? I don't remember what class he was from. And you lose CJ Gardner-Johnson, but literally just plug in Brian Branch and you're fine. So really, I hope there's not some like monster player I'm overlooking here, but let's go with good old Jeffrey Simmons. Obviously, the reason he fell in this draft was I think he tore his ACL or Achilles at, was it his pro day or was it like at the end of the year? I don't know. Either way, if he wasn't injured, he likely would have been a top 10 pick. Still, was it a first round pick, I believe? Or did he fall out of the first? I don't know. Either way, he's been a stud in the NFL. One of the more underrated players in the NFL. Titans players in general just don't get a lot of coverage unless your name is Derrick Henry. So yeah, he's been a stud, and I think the Lions would very much appreciate a good defensive lineman. The Buffalo Bills at number 9. You do lose Ryan Bates. Oh no, that's terrible. Whatever will you do? You also lose Dawson Knox, but you have Dalton Kincaid. You're fine there. You lose Damian Harris, Ed Oliver, and then I think that's it. So you're not making it out too bad, but I do think you go with an offensive lineman here. That line is not good. Let's go with maybe the best guard in the NFL last year, maybe, in Chris Lindstrom. Again, I don't know why I said again, but what is a good team without a good offensive line? Like pretty much every Super Bowl winner in the past few years has had at least a pretty good offensive line, and I wouldn't necessarily say the Bills have that, especially on the right side of their offensive line with Ryan Bates and Spencer Brown. Now, Osiris Torrance could be good, but also left guard is kind of a question. I don't love either Connor McGovern or David Edwards, so move one of the either Torrance or Lindstrom to left guard, and bam, your offensive line is better. So the Bills with a good offensive line would be pretty terrifying, and they could have that here. The Steelers at number 10. I think you are losing Deontay Johnson and Cole Holcomb, and that's like it, at least for starters. I'm just looking at the starters. Well, you're definitely gonna need a receiver. I think Deontay Johnson could become like an amazing receiver. It's just his hands are not good enough. His release and route running are fucking amazing, but the hand, and he makes some questionable like running decisions at times. That's just a theme with Steelers players sometimes. Where the hell? Oh, there he is. I'm blind. We're gonna go Terry McLaurin to the Steelers here. Probably the second best receiver in this class. I do like DK Metcalf a lot as a Seahawks fan, obviously. It's a little bit of a toss-up. You know, both of them kind of have their things holding them back. Pete Carroll definitely likes to run the ball a little bit, and that obviously limits Metcalf's touches, and Terry McLaurin has like never had a good QB. So, I don't know, pick your poison. I'll go Terry McLaurin here to not make everybody super mad, because people just don't like when I take Seahawks players. People just don't like the Seahawks in general, which that's fair. So we'll go Terry McLaurin there. Now, a division rival of the Steelers is up at number 11 in the Cincinnati Bengals. You have Irv Smith, Jonah Williams. Was Sam Hubbard in this class? No, he might have been 18. So you're not losing too much really, but it genuinely baffles me. I can't remember if it was a redraft or what it was, but I had Bengals fans getting mad at me for taking offensive line. Do you not remember what this team looked like 2 years ago? Joe Burrow got essentially his ACL torn because his own offensive lineman I can't remember, blocked into him. If I were a Bengals fan, I wouldn't complain about offensive line being taken. Now here, I mean, it's a solid group, but like La'el Collins wasn't that good last year. Cordell Volson was solid, I guess. I don't know why I'm talking myself up into taking offensive line so much when I'm not even sure if that's what I'm gonna do, because there isn't really a great one left. We could go Elgton Jenkins, but should we? We could. That would be kind of fun. Who's like the highest rated player I have left? Okay, well, there's Josh Jacobs, definitely don't need a running back. DK, definitely don't need a receiver. TJ Hawkinson, I mean, you're losing Irv Smith, and even then, it's just Irv Smith. Montez Sweat, I mean, the duo of Hubbard and Hendrickson is good. Jamel Dean, your corner room is solid. It could maybe need an outside corner. Cam Taylor-Britt's pretty good, though. And obviously, Awuzie is good. Maybe a weird one, but we are gonna go with TJ Hawkinson to the Bengals. Joe Burrow has definitely liked his tight ends in the past, so just an embarrassment of riches in receiving options for Joe Burrow here. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and now TJ Hawkinson added to the group. Now the Packers at number 12. I mean, this is pretty obvious. We're gonna go with a receiver. It's gonna be DK Metcalf. I guess, well, yeah, that's a good pick. I will say this though, he might be a little redundant with Christian Watson on the team because they are fairly similar, but I guess there's nothing wrong with having two good receivers like that. I mean, you want to have diversity at receiver, obviously. You want to have like your possession guy, your route runner, your good like slot option, your short check down guy, your deep threat, like speedy guy, but there's nothing wrong with having two good receivers, even though they both kind of do the same thing. They're not like exactly the same, but at like surface level, they're similar, very similar. But I don't think Packers fans would complain about having DK Metcalf at all. I do also find it funny that when there were trade rumors of DK Metcalf, everyone was like, ooh, my team should trade for DK Metcalf. I saw a lot of Packers fans like, Packers, go get DK Metcalf. And then as soon as he got re-signed, everyone went back to calling him dog shit. Definitely interesting, but fair enough. Now the Dolphins at number 13. Who did they take? Oh yeah, they took Christian Wilkins with this pick. You know, that was a good pick. However, you do have a relatively deep defensive line. Zach Sealer is good. Emmanuel Ogbah is good. Raekwon Davis is a player that exists. I will say that. You'd be losing David Long, which, I mean, you kind of don't really have anything other than him, but it's linebacker, who cares? And I don't think they would be losing any other starters, just those two. But this has been known as one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL for the past few years. It is better. Robert Hunt has become good. Connor Williams was really underratedly good last year. And Teron Armstead is good. But Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg are still question marks. So we are going to give them... I don't feel great about replacing Christian Wilkins, but like I said, you already have two other good defensive linemen. So we're going to go Elgton Jenkins here at number 13 to the Dolphins. Now the Falcons up at number 14. Again, I don't think you're losing much here. You might be losing Scotty Miller, which they have him listed as Scott Miller here. That's interesting. Ooh, actually, I lied big time. Oh God, this offensive line would go to shit. Chris Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry, you would be losing both of them. Oh God. Oh, this team would be, oh God. Okay, I don't think you lose anybody else, thankfully, but damn, what are they gonna do? I guess we'll keep Caleb McGarry. Maybe a bit of a reach, but you would be kind of desperate in this situation. I think they took Lindstrom at 14 in real life and McGarry at 31, if I remember correctly. I mean, if I had to guess, I honestly thought both of them got taken in the 20s. I thought they got taken closer together, but I did remember both were first rounders. But we're gonna take Mr. Caleb McGarry here to the Falcons. Definitely had a breakout year last year and is a pretty good player. Now, the Washington Communists at number 15. I know numbers. The big question is, how serviceable would this this receiving group be without Terry McLaurin? I mean, Jahan Dotson was good as a rookie. Curtis Samuel is solid, and I actually like Diami Brown, so you would be losing your number one. But also, you would be losing Montez Sweat, and I feel like that is a bigger problem. Well, no, not a bigger problem at all, but I think you have more solutions at receiver than you have at pass rush. Maybe I'm going about this in the wrong way and just trying to fill needs, which isn't a great thing to do all the time, but if you're gonna get a good player either way, you might as well take a good player at a bigger position of need, if that makes any sense. So we're gonna let them keep Montez Sweat here. There are still some very much good players on the board. I mean, Daniel Jones is still available. Josh Jacobs, we won't really think about him until later though. Deebo Samuel, Brian Burns, Josh Allen, Christian Wilkins, even Ed Oliver, Bobby Okereke, Dre Greenlaw, Jamel Dean, CJ Gardner-Johnson. There are definitely some really solid players left. So I don't want to let one slip too much. I want to remember that they're there. That's the hard part about this, just remembering that some of these players are still available, because I don't want to get to the end of the first and be like, oh shit, I haven't given anyone Josh Allen yet. But here for the Carolina Panthers, I think we are just going to keep Brian Burns. We're going to be boring there. Might as well. He's been a really good player. No reason to really switch that up. And here for the Giants, you know what? Let's just take him. We'll give him Daniel Jones. Here at 17, I feel a lot better about that than taking him at number 6. Even still, now that he was okay last year, I still don't even feel great about him as a top 10 pick. I feel like if you're going to be a top 10 pick, you got to be around around the top 10 range, which maybe some people think he was around that last year. He was fine, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. And he could be even better this year, we'll see. But I feel a lot better about him at 17 than at 6, so we'll do that. And it definitely hasn't worked out too bad for the Giants here. Now the Vikings at number 18. They did lose Garrett Bradbury, TJ Hawkinson, and Byron Murphy. Oh, that corner room. Holy shit. Well, they have Andrew Booth at least. It has Mekhi Blackmon listed as the starter right now? Is he like impressing in camp, or is this thing smoking crack? I don't know. I don't love to go need all the time, but we're gonna need to go need here. That's funny. We're gonna go Jamel Dean. You need a corner. You desperately need a corner. It said that was a D. I disagree. Jamel, that rhymes. Let's go. Jamel Dean is a good corner in the NFL. Obviously in the NFL. Where else would he be playing? The fucking CFL. I need to sleep soon. It's 11. I mean, that's not that late. I'm a boomer. I know. No way I just said boomer in the year 2023. Whatever. Fuck it. Fuck it. We ball. Jamel Dean, good corner. They desperately need corner, so get good corner. Boom. Problem solved. Insert like warthog with mind getting blown emoji here. You know what I'm talking about. All right. I might get hate crimed if I don't take Deebo Samuel sooner or later. And this would be like Deebo Samuel's second best scheme fit in the NFL, pretty much. So we're going to give him to the Tennessee Titans. I mean, he's just kind of your direct A.J. Brown replacement. I mean, you didn't have A.J. Brown in real life this last year, obviously. You traded him away, but your 1 year later replacement. But I guess he never would have been replaced because A.J. Brown never would have been there anyways in the first place. You know what I'm saying? They need receiver. Deebo Samuel's a good scheme fit. Thumbs up. The Broncos at number 20. I actually have zero recollection of what the hell they did here. What did they do with 20? They got Reisner in the second round, right? And Drew Lock with the horse cock. I have no idea who they took, but they would be losing Ben Powers, Zach Allen, Josie Jewell. No, I don't think Josie Jewell was in this class. Was he? Not according to my note. That was a nerdy ass sentence, but I think, God, really, if you lose Zach Allen, your only good defensive lineman is DJ Jones. This is where Christian Wilkins is gonna go. Good value at 20, maybe should have gone a little higher technically, but it's just I don't think any of the picks above him were bad at all by any means. Obviously, I just made them, but I swear I also remember like mocking Christian Wilkins to the Broncos at the time. I don't know why, but either way, Christian Wilkins to the Broncos is the pick here. The D-line is disgusting, and he's a good player, so that works out. Now the Packers, again on the clock here, they had 12 earlier. We gave them DK Metcalf now at 21. It might be a little jarring with me switching between these back and forth so much, but that's okay. My videos are not meant to be comfortable anyways. I don't know. You lose Elgton Jenkins, you lose fucking Rashawn Gary. Oh, that's not great. Well, I do like Lucas Van Ness, so you're fine enough there. You lose Darnell Savage, which it's not like he's that good anyways. He got benched last year, so it's not ideal, believe it or not. Who's just BPA, straight up? Well, Josh Jacobs, we're not going to do that. Josh Allen and Dre Greenlaw are my two other best players available. You also really need offensive line, but there really isn't anyone that good here. I mean, Eric McCoy, but I don't really know if he has guard flexibility. He might, maybe. No, we'll just go Josh Allen. I feel bad for him slipping this far. Like, he's not a bad player at all, obviously. I mean, I was thinking about him goddamn top 10. It's just kind of how this has worked out. You could do this a number of different ways, and I would probably be fine with it. That's just how this has worked out. And honestly, there's an argument for him to not go here either. You could go Dre Greenlaw. You could go Nate Davis. You could go Eric McCoy. You could go with a defensive lineman. You could go Deontay Johnson and add another. No, you wouldn't do that. You probably wouldn't do that. But you could go CJ Gardner-Johnson. Ooh, that might have been a better pick even, because that safety group is so bad. But no, you're not going to complain about getting Josh Allen. That's a pretty good pick. Either one of the Josh Allens in the NFL, you wouldn't really complain. Now the Eagles at number 22. We are going to go receiver here. You are losing AJ Brown, and if you do not have AJ Brown, that's not a great group, to say the least. Do they lose anything else though is the question of the day. I don't think so. So yeah, receiver is going to be the pick, and I really see no other choice. The question is, which one do we give them? We could go Marquise Brown. We could go JJ Arcega-Whiteside. I'm sure the Eagles would definitely want him back. But the number one player, the number one receiver, ooh, Hunter Renfrow too. But you have Zacchaeus in the slot, you're fine. Where the hell is he? Oh yeah, Deontay Johnson was a really late pick. I forgot about that. Or was he really late? I don't know, but we're gonna give the Eagles, you know what? This is kind of the thing where the players are redundant again. I don't want to say redundant because they're on the field at the same time, but Deontay Johnson, route runner, Devontae Smith, route runner. You know what? Fuck it. We'll pick him anyways. He's the number 1 receiver on my board. You could also go Hollywood Brown. Either one is good to me. We'll go with the one that slightly edges him out on my board in Deontay Johnson. Definitely not A.J. Brown, but a good receiver in his own right. Now the Texans at 23. Is this where they took Titus Howard? I think so. That was such a weird pick. He was actually decent this last year though, but do you retake that pick? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but that's really all you lose. I don't think any of these other players were in this draft. So we're just gonna go. Before I do that, is there like anything else we could upgrade over? I mean, you need a receiver, but I mean, the best you're getting is Hollywood Brown, which that's good. And maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do that. Because I mean, the best you're getting at tackle is either Jawan Taylor, Jonah Williams, or Titus Howard. And you can find better players than that in other ways. You could also get Dalton Reisner, which actually I might like that more. Nah, but fuck it. We're gonna go Hollywood Brown at number 23 to the Texans. They're kind of lacking a deep threat in their receiving group. I mean, Nico Collins, possession receiver. John Mechie, more of a route runner guy. Same with Robert Woods, and Robert Woods is old. You've Tank Dell, more of a route runner too. I think Noah Brown is too. So we'll get a like pure speed guy in Marquise Brown. Add some diversity to that receiving group. I've been talking about diversity a lot. Call me a politician. I don't know. So yeah, Marquise Brown is the pick. Sounds good to me. Now the Raiders at 24. We'll stick with the pick they made in real life. Did they pick Jacobs at 24? I'm pretty sure they did. I think they took Jacobs 24 and then the Jonathan Abram at 27. I'm pretty sure that's what they did. Where was Abram? Oh, 41. This is like a pre-draft thing, I think. Or I can't remember if I did pre or post-draft. This really doesn't look like post-draft though, because they have obviously Abram this high. And they had Deontay Johnson all the way down at like 215 or whatever. But we'll stick with Josh Jacobs. Questionable to take running back in the first round, especially when your team's so bad, but I mean, he's a really good running back, to be fair, so I think that's a good pick. And with the Ravens at 25, we still have some good players on the board. We have Tony Pollard, which probably won't take him, but maybe. Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow, Dawson Knox, Noah Fant, Nate Davis, Eric McCoy, Zach Allen, TJ Edwards, Bobby Okereke, Dre Greenlaw, Byron Murphy, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Amani Hooker. There are definitely really good players still left. The GOAT, Gardner Minshew, he's still here. But for the Ravens at 25, I think this is where they picked the player that went only 2 picks before in Marquise Brown. Or was he a second round pick? No, I think he was first, maybe, probably. But they lose Rock Ya-Sin, and that's like 8, I think. You're not making it out too bad from this draft. Was J.K. Dobbins in this class? No, he was 2020 apparently. But they kind of do need a nickel corner. Let's give him, I guess we'll give him Byron Murphy. That feels a little weird for some reason, but just going down the list of best player available, he was the one that made the most sense. I was thinking about Tony Pollard too, because this is a very run-heavy team, but I mean, Dobbins and Edwards are both good. Like, they're fine. But that could also be an option, because this is a very run-heavy team. But the Commanders, at number 26, obviously added Montez Sweat earlier. I think 26 is the pick they got Sweat at, and then 15 was the Haskins pick. But here, again, they do lose Terry McLaurin. I also don't love their interior defensive line, or right tackle, or tight end. I can't say I love QB because Sam Howell's unproven. I do think he'll be pretty good though. I do think this is a really good defense on paper though. The offense is definitely questionable though. Let's give them, do we give them Eric McCoy, Nate Davis, or Dawson Knox? Let's give them Eric McCoy. He'll be their new center. Is Chris Paul really gonna be their starting left guard this year? Left the NBA to join the NFL and become an offensive lineman. Let's go. So Eric McCoy is the pick to the Commanders. I think it's a pretty good one. Now the Raiders at 27. Who did I give them earlier? I gave them Dexter Lawrence and Josh Jacobs. Let's let them keep one of their receivers, and that is going to be Hunter Renfrow. They're probably planning on getting rid of either, well, probably they're thinking about moving on from Hunter Renfrow. Only one of them can be a slot, and neither of them are good outside. So unless they're planning on playing one of them outside, which I think would be really dumb. It has Jacoby Myers listed as the right outside receiver, which I don't think would be good. If that's what they do, it's not going to go very well for them. So they're probably planning on trading Hunter Renfrow, but I do think he's a little better than Myers, but Myers is good too. So I don't know, maybe pick your poison there, but we'll stick with Hunter Renfrow. He's also been there for longer, so that makes sense. Now the Chargers at number 28. First pick for them, obviously, and I don't think there are any losses at all. which is always a plus. Yeah, wow, none. I don't think. No. So this is just an addition regardless. You know, I don't feel great about Alohi Gilman at starting safety. Oh, I forgot that was a thing. I forgot Nazir Adderley retired, which he wasn't amazing, but he was sure as hell better than Alohi Gilman, especially a free safety. That's gross. But they also have Trey Pipkins starting. I don't know which I feel worse about, but I think CJ Gardner-Johnson at safety is a bigger upgrade over Alohi Gilman than whoever they would get at tackle over Pipkins. So let's go CJ Gardner-Johnson to the Chargers. The duo of him and Derwin James would be lethal. Now the Seahawks at 29, I think this is where they picked Mr. LJ Collier, who this thing had ranked as the 87th player. Definitely an understandable pick. I definitely didn't want to scoop my eyeballs out with spoons at the time. Probably part of my childhood trauma that I guess I didn't have, but if I did, that would have been part of it. Anything is an upgrade here. Literally, we could take goddamn Saquon Hampton. I don't know who that is, and that might be better than what they got from LJ Collier. I'm not saying it would be, but it very well could be. But who are they losing from this draft? I think they're losing Phil Haynes. Truly just tragic. Noah Fant, but I like Will Dissly. I like Colby Parkinson. Draymond Jones. Yike. Okay, that could be where we go. Which I don't love that they paid Draymond Jones as much as they did. I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. I literally called to a T what they would give him. Before it was even announced that they would sign him. At the beginning of free agency, I predicted that they would sign Draymond Jones. I predicted 3 years 15. I think they gave him like 3 years 18, which is even worse. Again, before they even announced that they would sign him. I just knew it would happen. I knew the contract they would give him, except it was worse than I even expected. I just knew that Pete Carroll wouldn't be able to resist him. He could be very good. I'm not saying he won't be. It's just he was good like his first couple years in the NFL and then hasn't been the last couple years. So I don't know which version of him we're gonna get. We'll see. Oh yeah, and this team loses DK Metcalf. I almost missed that. So yikes. This team gets very screwed from this draft. What would I feel better about? Either Cody Thompson or Derek Young starting at receiver, or a defensive line consisting of Mario Edwards, Cameron Young, and Jaron Reed. I don't know. Both sound not great. But who would we even get anyway? I mean, Jacoby Myers, that's completely redundant with JSN. Darius Slayton, I don't know about him in the first round. Damn, Travis Fulgham, I forgot about him. He was good for like a whole season and then disappeared. Let's go with a D lineman. Which one though? Oh, Ed Oliver is still available? I guess that makes sense. But let's go Ed Oliver here. I would definitely be comfortable with him towards the end of the first. Hasn't really become the player that I thought he would. I was fairly high on him. This last year he was decent, but still not really the top 5 defensive lineman in the NFL that I thought he would eventually be. Could be, for sure. Could still grow. Just, he's fine. I hear why are there fireworks? It is July 8th. Those also sound really close. Maybe they're gunshots. I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me. And I hear a car speeding away. Did I just hear a drive-by shooting? Probably. Wouldn't surprise me. Well, kind of, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, the Giants here at number 30. You've made it out pretty well from this draft so far. AJ Brown and Daniel Jones are definitely good picks. I have no recollection of who they took with the 30th pick though. Who was it? Oh, was it not Jerome Baker? That's a Dolphins linebacker. Not Budda Baker. The corner Baker who got in trouble with the corner from the Seahawks that they had for the 1 year. Something Baker. Why I can picture his face. I can't think of his name though. I'm really bad with names, but that's who they picked there anyways. I'm just fucking rambling at this point. That linebacking core is horrid without Bobby Okereke. Even with Bobby Okereke, it's not amazing. But we're gonna, oh god, the D-line isn't great either if you lose Dexter Lawrence. Should we give him, we'll give him Dre Greenlaw. That'll be the pick. If I can find him. He is right here, Dre Greenlaw. So that's a pretty good first round for the Giants. Daniel Jones, AJ Brown, Dre Greenlaw. That might be a better trio than Daniel Jones, Dexter Lawrence, and Baker, whose first name I can't remember for some reason. Not Jerome Baker, but I really feel like it was Jerome, but it wasn't. I know it was. This is gonna piss me off. I'm gonna look this up. Hold on. DeAndre Baker. That wasn't even in my mind remotely, but it was DeAndre Baker. Either way, I like that pick for the Giants. Now the Falcons back on the clock here. They definitely get screwed in this world, but it is what it is. You know what? Hold on. This offensive line isn't too bad. It's Jake Matthews, Matt Bergeron, and I actually like Matt Hennessy, Drew Dahlman, and Caleb McGarry. So it's fine. It's not great, but you know what else isn't great? The majority of this team, except the secondary is filthy. Oh my God. AJ Terrell Terrell, Richie Grant, Jesse Bates, Jeff Okuda, Mike Hughes, and even Clark Phillips, Trey Flowers, and Darren Lee as backups. Damn, Andy Alford is decent. That's a filthy secondary. Oh my god. But I think we're gonna go with a receiver here, because that is, I mean, Drake London was much better as a rookie than I expected, but outside of him, you don't really have much. Mac Hollins is fine, and Scotty Miller, he's fast, but that's about it. Let's add a good slot receiver in Jacoby Myers. I think they are losing. Instead of getting Caleb McGarry and Chris Lindstrom, you're getting Caleb McGarry and Jacoby Myers, but you know, I guess it could be worse technically, so it's not too bad. And then the final pick of this 2019 first round redraft, it is the New England Patriots. I think this was the N'Keal Harry pick, which I hated from the rip, and ironically, I thought that was kind of how Drake London was going to be, but he's just straight up a better football player than N'Keal Harry. Sometimes it's just hard to tell with those just possession receivers. Like, you could hit a JJ Arcega-Whiteside, a N'Keal Harry, or you could hit a Mike Evans, a Mike Williams, a Drake London. If they have a K in their first name, they're probably going to... No, I wouldn't say that. N'Keal Harry. Never mind. But to make up for the Patriots' sins, what are we going to do here with this good old-fashioned last pick? Where the hell are they? There they are. So who are they losing? Anyone? I don't think so. Maybe Jelani Tavai, but they're good at finding linebackers wherever. I'm sure one of these guys would work out, and they might be losing a corner. Well, I don't know. I don't think so, actually. So this is pretty much house money. Whatever you had here is just an upgrade to your base team. So who is going to be the lucky last pick? There are definitely some good players that would be falling out of the first round. Sean Murphy-Bunting, Amani Hooker, Bobby Okereke. Did I draft Bobby Okereke? Wait, no, I didn't. It was Dre Greenlaw. TJ Edwards, Zach Allen, Nate Davis, Dawson Knox, Noah Fant, pretty much every running back, Pollard, Sanders, Harris. But with this pick to the Patriots, TJ Edwards would be a really nice scheme fit there. Maybe that should be the pick. They do like their thumping linebackers. Is that boring though? Maybe. There's also Azeez Al-Shaair. Is TJ Edwards here? That's the question. Yeah, he is. You know what? No, we're not gonna take TJ Edwards. I mean, we are gonna take TJ Edwards, but that's not who I'm gonna show on screen. We're gonna take my GOAT, my greatest player of all time, Gardner Minshew. Genuinely my favorite college player ever. I mean, that pick is really TJ Edwards, but I wanted to take Gardner Minshew for the hell of it. So that's the redraft. Quick recap: Nick Bosa to the Cardinals at 1, Crosby to the 49ers at 2, Quinnen Williams stays at the Jets at number 3, Dexter Lawrence at number 4 to the Raiders, Kyler at 5 to the Bucks, AJ Brown at 6 to the Giants. You know what? I'm not gonna read all this. You guys have eyes. I give up. I don't know how to read. So this was definitely a very fun redraft. I hope y'all did enjoy. I would definitely love to do more of these in the very near future. I mean, there are a million different ways I could have done this. I could have kept Kyler Murray at number 1, and this entire thing would have been completely different. Like, there are really just a ton of different ways you can do this kind of stuff, and that's the fun part about it. But that's gonna be the end of today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope y'all enjoyed, because I very much enjoyed making this. Subscribe to the second channel, which is this channel, if you haven't already. I didn't set like a like goal or anything, but maybe like 40 likes. I have no idea how many people are gonna see this. It could be 20, it could be 1,000. I don't fucking know. I haven't uploaded here in forever. But thank you all so much for watching, and with that, I'll see y'all again in the next video. Goodbye.